Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the BNS podcast. My guest today is Terry, and Terry is a writer and an entrepreneur. Terry, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. Are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Um, Terry, today's topic is chasing growth when failure inspires. Before we go into that interesting topic that you might know a lot about, let's get a bit about your background. Share with our audience who Terry is.
Oh well, not too much to say. I'll just say there is a dynamic individual. I'm an entrepreneur, goal chaser, basically. Uh, well, I'll go back to my roots. I'm a Cameroonian, by the way. So I'm a humble son of a pastor and a teacher.
Oh,
So you when you mix the two, you kind of see that I've grown up in a kind of environment where my life just had to be straight, like straight, you know, based academically, based on my own social life and every other aspect of life. So I'm this type of person who, over the years, I've always strived, to create a legacy for myself, something which long after I'm gone, I could still be remembered for, you know,
mhm.
maybe not with the normal, should I say, the normal formula that every parent wanted their children to go through, like go to school, graduate, have a job, and all that. I had my own different means, but at the end of the day, I've just been this goal chaser, positive guy, a guy who make sure that a guy who makes sure wherever he goes, he's able to create impact in one way or the other.
Very
Usually positive. That's what I strive for. So Terry is just this positive, goal-driven individual who is well determined to make the world his oyster.
awesome. Okay, so Terry, um,
That's it.
I can tell from your story, your background, that you're very positive minded. But life has a way of
Mm.
creating some challenges, and you've had your own fair share of challenges. Can you share with us a moment where failure has actually um, impacted you in such a way that it turned into an achievement? Then, in other words, you've been inspired by failure to achieve something great. Because today's topic is chasing growth when failure inspires.
Yeah, but there's so many instances, like so many instances.
You can imagine.
I'm not into yeah. There's just so many instances, but if I want to narrow it down, like specific instances that changed my life for the I'll say for the better, you know. I'm going to go way back through my childhood, you know. Uh, so basically, as a kid, back in primary school, there was this scholarship program that this organization launched out for us, for the smart kids in school. And
So you're saying you're a
basically,
smart kid, eh?
my school, I'll put it that way. I know, yeah, I was a smart kid. I don't know, yeah, I think I'm still smart, but yeah. So
Okay.
basically, there was this scholarship program that was launched for the best of the best from these, should I say, impoverished schools, schools in the local, interior suburb areas, let's say, impoverished areas of
Mhm.
my country. So I just happened to go in this neighborhood where, well, I'm not going to say we're all wretched and all that, but yeah, you get, I kind of grew up in a place where, you know, there was nothing around us to inspire us as kids, you know,
Mm,
everywhere around us was just impoverished. It
mm,
was just a place, I'm going to say an environment where you're kind of limited and all you could do is dream, you know, on how you can make a life out of that type of environment. And you can only see things on the TV, You know, we could only see things on the TV and imagine when we're going to get there or where. You know, we saw those things like, you know, should I say Neverland? So it was more like, yeah. So basically, it was more like leaving the whole of a key to the light. That's if I want to put it like in a for you to if I want to create an image of
Mhm.
where I was at, you know, based on my childhood. Now, long story short, the main instance in my life where I'm going to say failure actually molded me or rather motivated me, that changed something in me. I'm going to go back at I'm going to go back at that scholarship program. So I was choosing. My name was on the list, my results. There was a particular examination we had to take. I took this exam. I nailed it. I was literally among the best. And I was selected, you know, for a scholarship program. So I was still in class five. I know in Cameroon, I don't know how it is for Nigeria. I think it's I don't know, you call it JS, something JSS1 or something, but yeah.
I,
So I
I,
was,
I wouldn't know because I'm in America. I'm in the US.
oh, okay,
Yes,
you're
so,
in
so
the US.
I
So
don't
I
know.
don't know how
But go
it's
ahead.
all over.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah. So I was selected basically, but on this list, I was selected based on merit, based on, I was so excited that I had a job, you know, and making my life something worthwhile, you know. I know how it is like in a neighborhood like that, in a school like that, when they hear you won this. Like all of my classmates started treating me nice. They were like, "Oh, this is the first person. This is our light. This is our star. He's going to go out there and he's going to shine for each and every one of us over here." So it was so promising. I was so excited. I knew I had a shot at being wherever I wanted to be, you know, a shot at my dreams. But fast forward, after a couple of weeks, the barrister who was supposed to arrange all of our documentation sits down. Okay, he calls my dad. Your son is on the list, but for some reason, you know, we'll need some motivation to be able to keep his name on this list. Yeah, we'll need some motivation to be able to keep his name on this list.
Motivation. I like that.
Well, my dad being a pastor and
Is
pastor
that
was
praying? Is
like,
that praying? Is that praying?
yeah, no, no, besides praying, he didn't go into praying. My dad being a pastor, he said he's going to stand for what's right. He doesn't believe in bribe. His son won this by merit, so his son is going to go by merit. And he believes God is going to make a way. You know, I'm not, you know, when this thing came back home, my dad and my mom went back and forth on this. It was a whole issue, you know, like it got to this point where it was a whole problem. And my mom said, "What do you mean by you cannot drive? What type of bribe did they ask you for? That's what they do. This is Africa. Go up. You have to bribe to make your son go to wherever he has to go to. You don't sit down and say they'll just put it there. They'll put another rich man's son's name on the list, you know, or whoever's parents could put some money. They will put their names on the list. So I worked so hard for this exam. I nailed it excellently well. But for some reason, I cannot go because another man wants his son's name on that list. Someone who did not have it on merit. My dad has to sit me down as a young boy and told me, you're not going to be able to go. Straightforward, you're not going to be able to go for this program because of some certain reasons which are beyond our control." Then my mom corners me, you know, women being women. This is what happened. Your dad did not want to bribe. I
Wow.
get pissed off. I'm like, so because of this, my whole life, the only one shot I have at getting out of this kind of impoverished situation because of just simple bribe, you're gonna keep me there. Go and give the bribe and come and pray afterwards. God is going to forgive you. You know, but I didn't understand this. It took me so many years It was after so many years when I had this conversation again with my dad, because as a kid, I couldn't see everything. He couldn't also talk about everything, he being the man.
That's correct.
But he made me understand. Do you really think, yes, I'm a man of God, I have principles, but do you really think I will sit down and leave my son, you know, only shot, or let's say one shot at getting to where he's always wanted to be, or where I feel he deserves to be, taken away from him just because of a blind issue? I asked him, well, I just thought maybe that was your nature. You just are a straightforward person. He told me he's going to tell me personally. The money they asked from him was something he could not afford.
Mm, wow.
He said, do you know your mother kept talking, but do you know how much was asked from me? I was like, how much did they ask from me? He told me the sum was in millions in CFA. And I said, where do I get that money? You know my salary.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Wow.
had to apply for a loan, where do I get it?
Right.
Fast forward, what if I get it and I put it and they say I have to bring more, or for some reason, you know?
Interesting.
That's
Very
when I
interesting.
understood him. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry for how I reacted.
Yeah.
I said, I'm so sorry for how I reacted, you know? But this alone, not that I'm going to say it made me to have a bias for the rich children or people whose parents go afford. No, I'm not somebody who looks at life from that negative angle. But rather, this made me to understand sometimes merit alone is not enough. This is a world where it's a dark world. You are on your own, parents. You have to go out there, fight for your own, fight to be in that position where your child is not going to have to lose his future because you were not able to provide a particular amount of funds to secure him or her in a particular place where they deserve to be. My dad prayed. He prays hard, but prayer couldn't do it for us at that point in time.
Wow. So I can relate to your story in so many different ways, but I won't take up too much time. I see
Mhm.
where your dad was coming from. He was trying to uphold not only his principles, but the fact that as a man, he couldn't afford to pay that kind of money, right?
Yeah,
And to uphold his own dignity, he held himself. But obviously, you being young, you didn't know what was going on. Now, that has inspired you to work hard and make sure that you are comfortable enough that you will have choices to make. I think when I tell people, I said money is good, um, but money is not everything. What money gives to us and what material things give to us is options. They give you options to make choices, right? You have more choices the more affluent you are. So, but money is good. And whoever says money is not good, it hasn't tasted money before. Because when you've tasted, when you've had good money,
you,
you can easily say that. But that's not the most important thing. Your dad's core values was what the driving factor was here, and that has
yeah.
inspired you in so many ways. Now you're inspired. Where do you see yourself if that was your position now? How would you handle it? Looking back now, you're a grown man now. Looking
If
back
I was
now,
the father,
if this happened to you, how would you handle it?
if I was the father, is that what you mean?
Yes.
If I was the father, first and foremost, I'm not even sure. First and foremost, I'm not even sure anybody is going to. I'm not even sure. First and foremost, my child is not going to be in an impoverished school.
That's
First
good.
and foremost, my child is not going to have to depend on the scholarship to make it. First and foremost. But then again, if I was in the position, everything being equal, if I was in my dad's position, maybe I would have done the same thing because he didn't have the money.
You didn't have the money.
And even if he had to stretch to say he wanted to go take a loan, there's just a limit as to how much he could borrow from the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't have collateral or everything to provide for the bank to get a certain amount of money. So
Wow.
he was simply in a position where he was on the wall. There wasn't much she could do. So it was just not for me, basically. It
Yeah,
wasn't just for me.
yeah.
And she told me,
The time might have been different. Yeah, and I bet you he would have,
yeah.
as a man, he would have felt a lot of pressure on him. Feeling bad with
Mhm.
himself. You guys thought you felt bad. I guarantee you, your daddy was feeling bad, sleeping and asking himself, God, why does this have to happen to me? I'm serving
Oh
you.
yes, he did. Oh yes, he did.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can
Because my
imagine.
dad took a second job. He took a second job to make sure something like this never occurred again.
You
He
see,
had to take a
there
second
you
job,
go. Yeah,
you know.
because what happens to us is, as men, people don't understand that we handle things a little differently. We might not talk a lot, but deep down inside, you're suppressing a lot of things bubbling in your head that most people won't understand. Let's move forward, man. Let's talk about this. In your bio, you mentioned something about you're dynamic and that you're very dynamic and well traveled, right? You have a very well
Mhm.
traveled background. Tell us about the journey that you've been through so far. What has that journey been like? When you talk about well traveled, and how has that shaped your own perspective of life?
Well, I'm not going into details as to the countries I've traveled to before,
Correct.
but it's
Hmm.
been a good number of countries, a good number for a young man my age, less than 30, and from where I'm coming from, it's something I could only dream of, you know. So how have these encounters with different people around the world shaped me? I'm going to say, well, I I'll just give you a little instance where I like to quote examples where I saw this kid. I was in a public bus out of the country, and then I saw this kid who was just like 7, 8 years old on his own in the bus. So he just came, tapped his card on the bus, and I looked at him. I was like, maybe his parent is somewhere sitting, watching over him or something. So I was sitting. He was patiently waiting for the person next to me to get up so he could sit down, you know. So I noticed, I was like, oh no, this kid is just standing and maybe the parent is somewhere sitting down and leaving this kid to stand up. So this is very rude. Why would the parent leave a kid like this to be standing instead of calling the kid, maybe carry them? So I had many things in my mind. Then I got up and I told him, come, come, let me carry you, small boy. Come on, sit on my feet. Come, let me carry you. He looked at me, yeah, oh, thank you. I said, okay, maybe it's just them being introverted and all that. And then when he got to his bus stop, he just went down. He was the only one who stopped at that instant. I was like, so this child was alone in this bus? Like he left school, got into this bus on his own and went down? God of heaven. I said, back where I came from, at this age, we feel like going to the road is a whole, in fact, it's like you need two people to hold your hands at that age to go to the road. Your parents will not even take the risk,
Right.
of leaving you out there. So basically, what this taught me was how much these people in the Western world train their children to be independent from the get-go. So much
Independent.
such that at 16, a child is already on his own.
Mm.
But in Africa at 16, that's where we're making a long list with allowances. This is what we need. This is what we need. But yeah, at 16, the child is already making his plans, saving for his car. So basically, this made me to understand that at the end of the day, it changed my view. It made me to understand at the end of the day, your whole life is dependent on you and your effort. There's just little your parents can do to bring
That's
you into
correct.
this world
That's
and
correct.
train you.
You're right.
You have to cultivate the habit of surviving on your own. Survival instincts. And when I said, if this child of 8 years is already doing this on his own, and I need to keep calling people. When I just came out, I was like, hey, how do I go to this place? How do I go to this place? I was like, no, 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 no. A child of 8 years old doing this on his own. I was so challenged. And I said, ah, parents, you all your life you were like, oh, my parents would have done this, but they couldn't do this. They would have done this, they couldn't do this. This is
Making
it. Look at this
excuses.
child is already in. Yeah, I always made excuses. Being the African that I was, entitled, basically. That's the word. being entitled to certain treatment, to some
Yeah.
certain, then I came to understand I've been blessed to have parents who took care of me till maybe 17, because yeah, at 17 I left my home to start my life. But
Mm.
having parents who took care of me right up to that age, that was a blessing. That was all I
Yeah.
needed. Whatever. But well, that just changed my perspective. It killed the entitlement in me completely, and I had to pass it across to my kid brother, because I'm already a man. I was already making for myself, but I had to impact my younger brother with what I saw. I said,
Mhm.
look, listen to me, young man. You are 15. I saw a child here at 8 doing things on his own. You are 15, meaning that if I call you and I tell you, hey, follow this project for me, I expect results and I expect feedback, receipts on everything. You got to do it.
That's correct.
Learn how
Correct.
to drive. As a matter of fact, if you can, learn how to do this on your own. Learn how to do it. As a matter of fact, tell me your business project. Let's start on it. They was like,
Hmm.
I'm still 15. I'm not yet. I said, don't even try that. You have to start building for yourself. If you want to further your studies, if you want to do this for yourself, you will save up your money by your own self.
Mhm.
I'll only train you, teach you, and assist you so you stand. But after that, you shouldn't be entitled. So I transmitted that culture
To him.
straight up immediately to the younger man.
Mm.
So at this point in time, it's been long since then, and I'm going to say so far so good. That young man only calls me to ask for money, maybe for complicated issues, but he's already
Right.
making it up. And I'm
That's
so
good.
proud of myself for having used, like, he was the first
I-
example. He was my first project, and he worked out. So I'm motivated to say, okay, maybe when I come and have my kids eventually, I'm also going to impact this on them, and they're also
wow.
going to make it out in one way. Yeah, that's
All
how
right.
it shaped me, entitlement.
I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue with this story and find out more about your life. Okay, we're back. My guest today is Terry. Terry is a writer and entrepreneur, and he is well traveled. I just
Very
thank you
well
for sharing
traveled.
your story. Terry, we have about less than 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up on this show. So I want to ask you one or two questions. Someone just asked a question on the chat. They said, let me just read it to you. So listening to you, I feel as if I haven't accomplished much as an older man. If I feel stuck, what should I do?
If you feel stuck,
Yeah.
first
So
of all, I carry this principle on my head. I know people say it everywhere, using lemon to make lemonade, but I carry this on my head as my watchword. I always try to see beyond failure. First off, if you feel stuck, I'm going to say that is a time when you have to regroup yourself.
yes, right.
Try to get some balance within
Exactly.
your own self. Because when you have that balance, everything just aligns eventually.
That's correct.
Everything aligns. Once you get this alignment, when I'm in my own element, I feel so aligned and I feel unstoppable. I feel like there's just absolutely nothing I cannot attain.
That's correct.
Irrespective of the setbacks I encounter, I look at every setback and I smile. I say, oh, Terry, maybe it didn't go hard enough. Go harder this time. And I go again. First of all, you have to be comfortable with starting over
Hmm.
from scratch if need
Very,
be.
very, very important.
And for you to be able to start over from scratch, you have to understand that the push cannot be an external push, it has to be internal. So if you're able to create this internal push within you, wherever you find yourself, even if it's in the hole, you're going to have this mind, this positive mentality where you want to see beyond the darkness in front of you.
Right.
Yeah, and you can only dream as far as what you can see.
Correct. Correct.
So if you are in dark spot, first off struggle to get off that spot, because if you can't get off the spot, you can't see further. You feel stuck. But the
Yeah.
only reason why you feel stuck is because you're still on the same spot. Mentally, the whole battle starts from within. Work on yourself, create balance on yourself, and then you get the alignment eventually.
So just share with us three or four things that you would do in a situation where you're stuck. What you said, number one is find alignment within. What does that mean? Spiritually or naturally?
Yeah. First of all, that's naturally. I don't want to be all spiritual right now. That's naturally. First of all, what do you love to do?
And then number
Looking
two,
at your past experiences, where did you fail? What did you do wrong? What would you have done
so
to
you
better?
reflect. So number two is like reflection. You reflect on.
You do that reflection. Get that. Yes. And afterwards, yes, I'm African, and I've always, besides my background is exploded. I've always put God first in everything, every aspect of my life.
Mhm.
So yeah, after I've done that reflection, I now take it to God in prayers. After I take it to God in prayers, the next thing, I try to share this problem with other people. Try to
Ah,
discuss. If you don't have people to discuss with, no problem. We have the internet today. That's the advantage we have. Go
yes,
out there, make some research, listen to other people's stories. Then ideas begin to form up in your head.
correct.
It may not be all mapped out for you, but then you have some pinpoints to work on. And then you just follow the direction and you get back on the path. That's the
Wow.
test. So yeah, I think that's it. And the fourth is consistency. Whatever you decide afterwards, make
Consistency.
sure you stay consistent
Consistency.
to it.
Yeah. Consistent.
Consistency.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
everybody's going to tell you, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency is very.
If you're
Consistency
not
is.
consistent in whatever,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go
if you're
ahead.
not
Go ahead. Terry.
consistent
Go
in
ahead.
whatever you choose, yeah, if you're not consistent in whatever you choose to do, there's a high chance that a minor setback is going to get you off track completely. But as long as you're consistent, whatever you choose to do, showing up every day, you cannot be unlucky for a whole year. There must be one lucky day for you.
I like that.
Yeah.
You can't be unlucky for a whole year. There has to be
Mhm.
one lucky day, and all it takes is one lucky day, and everything changes around you. I
Yeah.
agree. Um,
Mhm.
as we're wrapping up the show, we have 2 more minutes to go. Um, you're a writer and an entrepreneur. Um,
Okay.
share share with us some of the stuff you're writing right now, or what you're working on, or
Okay.
areas
Mostly,
of entrepreneurship.
in my writing career, mostly I've worked with bloggers. So I've mostly, for the most part of my career, I've worked as a ghostwriter. So being a ghostwriter, that means I'm not going to come out here and declare the blogs where I've worked for or which I'm working for right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've worked on a lot of articles, and some articles you just see on the blogs out there in Cameroon. You
Mm.
don't know I was the one masterminding it. And as far as my entrepreneurial life is concerned, I've specifically worked on agriculture so far. Yeah, so I've built myself, should I say, something like a legacy, because even if I'm not there today, these projects are still going to stand the test of time
Would
because
you like
I've
to
shared
share?
the vision with people after me. So it's more than just me.
Would you like to share some of the
Do I like?
agriculture products you're working on?
Yeah, right now in the land of in Bangen, that's in Maniguba subdivision in Cameroon right now. I got this whole project that's going on right now where I'm trying to invest more into food crops. For
Hmm.
so long, villagers have kind of been invested in just cash crops like coffee, cocoa, and all whatnot. But I now came and realized our land is fertile. We produce pepper and all those stuff. So right now, the main project for me is working on peppers, tomatoes, and all the fruits and whatsoever like cucumber and all that. As a matter of fact, I have a green plan that's going on right now. That's it's more than should I say should I say about 10 hectares of land? Yeah,
How
about
many?
10. of land. Yeah, about 10 hectares of land where I'm just investing all on just food crops, no cash crops. And yeah, it's still going on. The project is still going on because I intend to have a brand for myself, not just be this farmer who just produced everything and went out there like any other thing. But I want my products to be known for where they come from because I want them to stand out. So I want people to say, oh, this is the produce of Terry from so and so farm. So yeah, I have
Well
my
done.
garden, Cherry Gardens. So that's how I call it, Cherry Garden.
It's called Cherry Gardens or Terry Gardens?
Cherry Gardens.
Cherry Gardens. Wow, that's very good. Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Terry, we're wrapping up the show. I want you to take a few minutes, look at the camera in front of you, and talk to the 18-year-old you before you left and started your journey. What would you tell the
Okay.
18-year-old you watching now saying, aha?
Okay. So what I'm going to tell the 18-year-old me, first off, I'm proud of you for always dreaming like a child, despite the setbacks and the unavailability of resources that you needed, you know, to attain wherever you wanted to attain. I'm proud of you for hanging in there. I'm proud of you for believing in yourself, even when you thought that the whole world had come to an end and you couldn't be what you wanted. I'm proud of you for having stood up for your choices. Your parents designed you or wanted you to be a lawyer. It was all programmed, but you made your own choices and you said you don't want to rely on a paycheck. You would have been a big shot lawyer, that's for sure. Maybe. But then again, I'm proud of you for believing in your own freedom of choice, working with what you love to do, which was agriculture, believing that a day was going to come when you're going to be able to do these projects on your own, just like your grandfather did, and even better. I'm proud of you for hanging in there, working hard, and standing against all these odds to be wherever you are today. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Well said, well said. It's very interesting talking to you. Listening to you, I can just tell there's much more in you that hasn't come out yet, and I'm excited. I'm excited. Looking forward to that chapter of your life when we'll get to see that greatness come out. Terry, on behalf of all our audience on the BNS podcast, I want to say thank you for making out time. In our famous three
Yeah.
words, love. You want to say something? Sorry, did you want to
No,
say
no,
something?
no.
All
I
right.
have nothing else to say.
Okay, thank you. So, in our famous three words, I want to say love, peace, and more grace. Take care, Terry, and let's catch up very soon. Thank you.
Sure.